Hello and welcome to Yarni HQ. Today I thought I'd do something different and do a bit of a run through of the track. This one in the background's transitions, and I thought it'd be a nice place to start because it's got 3 local musicians and some live drumming and some other MIDI parts, etc. So yeah, so let's dig in and have a look. So if we make a start here, we've got a slightly panned to the left balafon, I think that's how you say it. To give it a bit of movement, I've got a phaser which is revolving around 6 bars, which makes it a bit odd. Seeing as the track's like a 4/4 arrangement, I thought that'd be nice the way that it's just slightly moving around in that flangey phasing feel. EQ wise, just taking a lot of the top end out. Cut away the bottom end to leave space for the bass and the lower register other instruments. And then I've just got a standard Logic EQ compressor, sorry. To thicken that up, we've got a bit of an electric piano like a Rhodes. Again, pretty standard. What I normally do is create a reverb bus and send a lot of the instruments to the same place so they all feel like they're in the same space. In this case it's Valhalla's vintage verb because the track's got a 70s feel, so I thought this would be a nice compliment for the track. Then we've got a bit of guitar playing for myself, very subtle in the background. There's all sorts going on there. It's a mono recording, just one mic in my little dry room. Again, just pan slightly off to the right this time just to complement the balafon. What I've done there is put a little bit of echo, give it a bit of space. Got a spring reverbs to give it that kind of almost rocky old rock style. Noise gate to tighten up the playing. I thoroughly recommend using gates on a lot of things, experiment around with them. And there's a bit of distortion, just to give it a bit of crunch. EQ to carve away all the bits that I want so it fits with the rest of the track. And again, a compressor just to grab hold of it, give it a bit of volume, control. Just lower that back down in the mix. So they're the more foundational elements that sit around in the background. We'll move the solo down, have a look at that in a while. If we have a look at some of the percussive elements, a lot of these are loop based, to be fair. Again, pretty basic. So if you listen really closely, you can hear like a kind of driven, tapey kind of feel. A bit of saturation almost. What I tend to do is bus all the percussion together and then send that to the main drum bus. Pretty standard EQing. Just get rid of the super high end to give it a bit of a 70s warmth. Take the bottom end off to carve space for the bass line and the lower register, the kick drum, etc. What you'll see is this is, again, it's compressed. Pretty fast compression just to grab hold of all the like spiky little percussive instruments. And then what I'll do with this is I'll send that over to a master drum bus. So you've got the percussion and the drums all bussed together. So if we have a look at the drums here. Just mute the percussion bus. listen to the drums now. The space that I record my drums in is a very tiny, dry room, so I like that 70s feel. So what I do is I mic things really close together, and then if I ever need to like achieve like a big room sound, I've got some really good reliable reverbs from Waves and several other companies. So for instance, this one, you'll hear the difference. This is the dry close room. If we turn on the reverb, what's good about this reverb is you can EQ it within the reverb, so you can control the actual what's being affected, not just the actual EQing of the sounds, but actually the room sound. You can design it. Obviously this is dialed in with the early reflection at practically 0. Then the main reverb, if we take it like absolute extreme, what I use quite a lot to drive and saturate a lot of my tracks, to be fair, is this Kramer tape from Waves. Can play around with various settings. I've tried to find like a setting that complements the 70s kind of feel that I like. So again, EQing, taking the very tops off. I record the drums with the overheads are 2 ribbon mics, so they've got like a very nice warm sound, so they're not overly pronounced on the top end. So I always like to roll a bit off the top end anyway for this kind of vibe. And then we've got to really grab hold of it and like push it a lot. We've got an old DBX modelled compressor. If you listen closely now, you can hear how that's accentuating the reverb that we've dialed in. Probably need to bring that right back now. And again, as I was saying, get the percussion, and I bust the percussion over to the main drums. Regarding the bottom end of the track, whether it's this kind of music or club music, I always bus my bass drum, kick drum with the bass line and process them together. A general rule of thumb, what I go for is having the bass line 5 decibels lower than the kick. I can't remember where I picked that up from, but it seems to be a really good rule to follow. What you can hear here is the kick was recorded dry in my room with really cheap mic. It's literally just a little thud. So to accentuate it a little bit, I've just found like a nice space within the body of the kick, found the tone, boosted it to suit, then we're EQing. See, I've just increased a little bit up there just to give it a bit more presence, but the presence is also picked up in within the overheads. If you listen to the overheads of the drum kit, you can hear the kick, so that's alright. Again, just a built-in bog standard compressor with really fast settings dialed in just to get hold of that snap, so it just pierces through. What you'll see there is I've sent another parallel signal of it to a bus to use as a side chain for elements, so if I want to create a bit of space, I can always side chain away from it. Pretty standard. The bass line's it's a Logic, literally a double bass from the samples built in Logic. Standard. I've just dialed in the MIDI, a little bit of swing, a bit of movement, and the note velocity to give it a bit more a human touch. There's some nice MIDI effects built into Logic to help humanize stuff. As you can see here, you can like dial in all sorts of different settings which will move the notes around. So if we have a look at the melodic content, we've got a solo section which is a vibraphone which is panned over to the right slightly. I'm sending a bit to the reverb bus which is Valhalla Vintage. This is a nice 70s feel. I always EQ a little bit off of the top end and the bottom end obviously to allow for the bass again. Quite important that you keep hold of EQing the bottom end if you're wanting some kind of solid bottom end for more clubby tracks. Layered in with that we've got, it's running through a tremolo. Bit of feedback delay on it, it's modelled on a tape kind of delay. The other side of the solo, which is panned to the left, is a mandolin, which sounds really nice. Just got some settings here, bit of stereo delay, EQ to control the very top end because it's quite bright, and again allowing the bottom end, giving the space for the kick, bass line, etc. This is just getting hold of the transients, and then I think that will be side chained. Oh no, I don't know what's going on there, I don't even know why that's on. Just to give it a bit of volume. Oh no, it's grabbing hold of it as well as, I don't know why I've gone with two compressors there, but there you go, it's all part of the fun. So if we look at some of the actual instrumentation that's been recorded, we've got Jono's main hook for the track, which is laid up with some other parts from Ben Marks. Now, we're just panning around the stereo field. Again, all of these are sent to the same melodic bus. Got some flute stabs from Rachel, just hard panned over to the left, sent out to the reverb bus. The flute's actually gated as well, just to give it that little bit of snap, so it plays in with the rhythmic parts of the track. Solo from Jono. Again, pretty standard stuff, just EQ the bottom end. Take away some of the very top end because he's recorded it in his studio remotely with a different type of mic, so I try to take away the very top end to just give it that 70s warmth. Standard compression just to grab hold of it, fast attack. Solo from Ben. It's not even EQ'd, this is literally just, sorry, not even compressed, literally just goes straight to the melodic bus. Getting hold of it there, I think that it was just nice and smooth enough that it didn't really need much tweaking. Sits nicely in the mix. It's quite low in the register, so I've chopped out a little bit, but again,